What is going on YouTube? This is Acid Root. So I'm going to review the debut album by rapper Tay-K. Basically this product is called #Santana World, and it came out in the summer of 2017. This particular product came out in the summer of 2017. So the particular fair about this, Cyan had reviewed this product a ways back as far as this fair is going to happen. I look after it here, did not really understand, don't know the terrible particular concept about what had happened here, but apparently he was on the run as far as this pitch going to happen. He had gotten caught up with some fairs in terms of the law as far as this pitch going to happen, particularly charges that sentence him to 55 years in prison and then later 80 years in prison as far as this first happens. This within the pitch as far as saying, particularly just right from the get-go, he was snared with problems that just outweighed like the concept of the talent of his music. And I look after it here, this is a pretty excellent album, be able to say that within those pitches. It's 8 songs within the pitch. I'm reviewing the deluxe edition that actually has 10 songs, but I'm not going to count those 2 extra songs because they're just basically the same as the original songs in the album, just with further rappers on there. But I look within the pitch, this particular cat's like a firecracker as far as these particular pitches kind of happen. It has some excellent type fare, kind of reminds me of Playboy Cardi, a little bit of Migos in there with minor pitches just within the aspect as far as just being able to say. It seems like a face of cloud rap. Seems like a lot of these folks kind of particularly had these problems. Then you have to keep in mind this is around the time back when Juice Wrld was still alive and back when XXX Temptation was dropping these sorts of hits. So this is back in like the SoundCloud kind of era pitches like that within some of those type fairs. Seemed like he was pretty big on those particular websites as far as those pitches kind of happen just that particular fair. He might have some mixtapes. I could look that up. He at least had an EP and pitches like that, so it makes me question if he does have like some mixtapes, some of that type fair. But basically, the pitch behind it, as far as this fair is going to happen, is this is just a product of like cloud rap back in its prime years, like the mid-late 2010s. As far as this fair is going to happen, similar to once again Playboy Cardi, Juice Wrld, some of those type folks, XXX Temptation within the pitch. But it's unfortunate because the affluence behind this particular album, just the fairs of what particularly happened here, it just felt like this particular era was kind of cut very short just in the pitch because he never really put out anything else as far as this was going to happen. At least other folks that had kind of, at least when you think of someone like Young Thug or some of those particular type folk, they did manage to put out like an album from prison, something within that relative type pitch, but just kind of the concept. This is the one and done as far as this was going to happen. Pretty much, I would say similar to like not similar in terms of like the quantity of the discography, but you know when you think of someone like C Murder or some of those type folks, or Shine, some of those particular type folks that had a lengthy prison sentence that only managed to put out like the one project or within that relative type sense and not many. It just kind of has the aspect as far as saying that the aspects behind it here would have been a pretty prolific type thing to have been able to see what Tay-K could have done. You know, just furthering. I mean, by this stage, it's not to say irrelevant, but it's just kind of pitched that it was tarnished just because July of 2017 is quite some time ago. So obviously the prime affluence that he would have had around that time is kind of tarnished with this because when you think of a hit song like The Race, I think the mentality and the mode that he was in has been since wiped away. But it's just within the pitch as far as saying, I do think he probably has the predominant factor of still being able to do some excellent type music. But just that it's kind of like paying attention to like a certain rapper, like when you think of like Dr. Dre in 1999 or something like that. I mean, yeah, Dr. Dre still makes excellent music, but him when he was dropping like the predominant songs like The Next Episode and Still Dre, some of those type pitches, I think he probably could have done that again within the same affluence in like 2000, 2001. But when you pay attention to an album like Compton that came out in 2015, it just kind of had that within that aspect. But it's an excellent album, just being able to say that. It's just within the pitch. And it's kind of within the question. I'm going to have to figure out if I'm going to give this album a 10 out of 10 because I wound up recommending 7.5 out of 8 songs on here. So there's really only one almost song to really get to within that particular fair. So basically every song in some fashion I recommend, but the almost song, just to say it like that, is just the last song you hear that way within the pitch. But I just look after here is some excellent type fare. There was at least 1 or 2 singles, but basically the second single is the same as the first single. The Race remix is the same as the original song. This has 21 Savage and Young Nudie on there as far as this pitch is going to happen. But look after here, just being able to say, so it's an excellent type of album. Really should have used a sequel just within pitch. I mean, I realized within the concept of being caught up for murder charges, it kind of extinguishes the concept of really making you want to put out music. But within the pitch, I would still probably have to say within the pitch that he should be excellent type fair to kind of get this cat to put out some further type music, or at least even if he worked on music, I just question if there could be any sort of unreleased type music that could be used. I mean, you have to understand that, like I was saying, 2017 is getting kind of further away within those pitches, but it'd be an excellent type fair if we could get some things from the vault just questioning. But surely the guy recorded more than just 8 songs, something like that, so you would think something, there probably could be like a sequel that could probably outstrip like the race, something like that he probably worked on somewhere in 2017, some of those type pitches that could be intended to just be like a stopgap, because you do have to realize that 30, 40, 50 years in prison is like pretty much like space age type years as far as those pitches can happen within that particular aspect. So it's just one to tell them about. Look after it here. So this will go down the list. Like I said, the only song I don't recommend in like a full blown fashion is just That Way. So the race is the lead single, and the only single off here is like a glaze kind of super high cloud rap dredge kind of get here within those aspects. Is typical day kind of fatigue I feel like about this particular one. Definite Juice Wrld vibes that I had to say, good stuff for that, and it's like a real hot song kind of gets. It's just the particular aspect. I do want to say, I think I remember Lil Wayne doing a remix to this particular song on one of his dedication projects or something he did in 2017, 2018, some of those type fairs within the pitch behind it. I do remember this song from back in the day. Real nice one, just lazy kind of day, kind of has that fatigue about it. It really feels like something that you would expect Juice Wrld to kind of be on just from the pitch as far as that particular fair kind of happens. Just seems like Cloud Rap just within its prime as far as this fair is going to happen, just from the aspect. This typical kind of highlight out of that waning era as far as this pitch can happen. Should take most folks right back to summer 2017, 2018. Some of those type pitches, some excellent type fare. That's why it's such a sin that there weren't songs like this in like for the late 2010s as far as this pitch can happen. But it's just from the pitch. But She Wrote's a nice one as well. It's like a bleary kind of neighborhood outing. You kind of get here, just a cloudy day stroll. I'd have to say within those pitches, just good song to ruminate to, and just some routine livings as far as those pitches kind of happen. So there are kind of some neighborhood type ones on here. Just kind of the aspect of getting something with the after effect of like a Playboy Cardi or Juice Wrld type song, just in a more neighborhood hop type sense. Just kind of snack run type music where it's just getting checks mixed. Some of those particular type fairs, just extra time within the sense of just kind of having some of that type fare. I like the aspect of this neighborhood type fare within the pitch, just between the race, She Wrote, Lemonade, Got a Blast, some of these type ones, even Saran Pack, just within pitches like that. A good chunk of this particular product just has like neighborhood jaunts. She Wrote just does it in kind of like a lofty and kind of bleary sense just in the pitch. It's definite Pink Skies type music, just a real nice depthy type one to ruminate to as far as this fair is going to happen. I Love My Chop is a nice one as well as like some basic kind of stunt night buzz hype to kind of get here. I Love My Chop is like a basic stunt night kind of buzz hype to kind of get here. Just get crunk, definitely smoke one pitches like that. Some good vehicle knock I'd have to say about this particular one. A good song for wilding as far as this pitch can happen. Just wild out with your pals, pitches like that. It's kind of one of those type ones. I mean, this particular album does not get its full-blown carnivorous within pitch. I feel like apart from I Love My Choppa and Mega, I feel like apart from songs like I Love My Choppa and Mega Man, as far as this fair is going to happen, the basic concept, this is just like a riler within the pitch, but it just kind of does it in like a relative kind of diss. Probably, I would say this the aspect is kind of like just buzz bop to kind of get here, just something that's just kind of the concept of like a primer of just like getting the box of beer, some of those type pitches, just the initial kind of conduct of like 6:45, 7:15 p.m. pitches like that, just kind of hanging out in like the driveway pitches like that, just the standard fare, just smoke it, standard neighborhood kind of noise, just rilings pitches like that as the Red Cups and Bellas start showing up within pitches like that. So it's within the pitch as far as those fairs going to happen. So Mega Man is a nice one. It's probably one of my more favorite ones on here. It's definitely like some gnarled trap carnage, I'd have to say. There's Traces, Amigos, and 21 Savage, folks like that, I'd have to say. Just definite stunt night, just some grand rollout type music, I'd have to say here. Great for vehicle knock pitches like that. This song slaps pretty well just within pitch behind. So it's just good aspect here as far as those fairs going to happen. Very different from most of the tone of this particular album. This is one that probably could have had a direction that would have happened just within the sense. I sense that probably like Tay-K probably would have had a good assortment of songs like this. Probably would have switched like the fashion of folks like Playboy Cardi and Lil Baby and Da Baby, some of those type folks, and Moneybagg Yo just within pitches like that. So it's kind of concept, just a brief taste of that particular concept, just a brief taste within that particular concept as Cloud Rap was kind of becoming like a good companion to like 2010s trap as far as this first happens. So it's a good, nice one, just in the pitch, real litty type one, just real nice bass and thump about that one. Saran Pack's a nice one as well. It's like a wayside kind of cloud rap for like kickback, I gotta say here. Good song for Bellas, just in like a more kind of good song for Bellas in like a more tamer type sense. Good aspect for that. Just reminds of like early 2010s mixtape days. Kind of feels like a hustle song, just a little bit more of the grit of just like it's a little bit more amidst the grit of like a romantic bustle as far as those first gonna happen. Just very shiny type song within the aspect behind as far as those first gonna happen. Just feels like something Meek Mill would have done with one of his type songs in like a bravado type sense on like Dream Chasers. Just one of those typical vibes that just takes it back to 2010, 2011, just with a little bit more pitch, like not necessarily R&B type flavor, but just more within beat with Beezy's in mind as far as those pitches gonna happen. It's not so much like going out and just making super knots of money, but just kind of the concept, just showing Bell as far as way of life as far as this pitch kind of happened just in the ton. So just good stunt type tune within that pitch behind it. This typical kind of this soft core type one. Has some good commercial type appeal. This would have been a good choice for a single as far as those fair is going to happen just within the aspect, but just within the pitch as far as those fair is going to go. God of Blast is a nice one as well. It's like an evening balm kind of sunset gaze to kind of get here. Just good. God of Blast like an evening balm kind of sunset gaze relaxer to kind of get here after like a long day. I'd have to say within those pitches. It's kind of one that works for like some good work shift relief as far as those fairs going to have. Just good pitch for that. Chillax type music definitely, but just litty within the aspect as far as doing it. So yeah, God of Blast just works for like a relative fatigue just within a sense, just within the aspect. Just typical type fair. Same sort of fare within an evening type sense as songs like The Race and M She Wrote within some of those type pitches. But it's just kind of within the aspect as far as saying that this has the tone of just some kickback, get some beer, some pitches like that typical type fare, just good chillax type tone, but it does it within a litty type sense of this. I mean, the thing about this album is it winds down, but it's not within a sense as far as saying that I'm just kind of just, going to sleep, and that particularly takes care of it as far as the fair is going to happen. Just has a little bit more just drive about as far as saying that, we're going to further continue driving bustle as far as this pitch going to happen. So it's a good type fair for that. Lemonade is a nice one as well. It's like a breezy kind of summer fried ambience to kind of get here. Just lazy kind of sunny evenings. I'd say a good combo with The Race. Definitely, it's this song's a good combo with The Race. I'd say it's pretty litty type one. So it's just good type pitch here to some of those breezy type factors, kind of within the aspect of it. Just I like the evening type fair about this product. A lot of good Pink Skies type music just in the mingle, just some kickback. Great album to just have like a box of beer, this is a great album to just have like a box of beer and just be near your vehicle and like the driveways for us. This pitch can happen, just neighborhood fairs pitches like that, whether it is neighborhood strolls, snack runs, pitches like that, just enjoying like a box of beer in like the front yard or backyard, some of those type pitches. Very summer fried, just in a lazy type sense, but is driven within the pitch. So it's just kind of the concept of just being productive, but just kind of in a more mellow type sense. So it's a good type fair for that. Real good aspects there. And then that way, the Almost song is a nice one as well. It's like a typical kind of late day usual fare to kind of get here, just some wind down, but driven within the aspects as far as those fairs going to happen. Good hangout type tune, homies, gab pitches like that, just gab music, just in the tone, just typical kind of chit chat chatter pitches like that. And it's a good song for snacks as far as those fairs going to happen. So it's just in the pitch. It's probably one that way within the particular type fair is just more late fare amidst like the evening, probably something for like 9:45 just within the pitch. Not necessarily going and having like a stunt night like songs like Mega Man and I Love My Chopper, but just kind of the pitch of just typical kind of hangout, just like hey, I'm gonna kick it for a little bit, but I'll holla as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just typical type tone, maybe smoking like a brief stogie, something like that, and then heading home as far as those pitches kind of happen. Just typical kind of gab is just within pitch as far as saying just a driven type pitch, but within it do like the bustle type fare of this particular product. So it's just the aspect. It's kind of a miss. So this is just kind of a beleaguered type product within the pitch as far as those pairs can have. And luckily, this album even came out in the first place just within the pitch behind it. So yeah, I would say within the pitch behind, I'm gonna give this album like a light 10 out of 10 just within the pitch because I feel like 7.5 out of 8 just within the fair. That's close enough to the aspect. If it had been 7 out of 8, it probably would have been like a 9.5 out of 10. But I'll give it like a light 10 out of 10 just within the pitch because I look after it just being able to say. I mean, it's within the concept. I mean, when you say 10 out of 10 is within the pitch, you would say, well, what's the difference between a light 10? Light 10 is just the fact that it is a 10, but just within a modern type sense, just an aspect. It just for most senses, it works like the fair of getting like a classic and perfect score as far as this pitch happens. So it's just the aspects of light 10, but it's just within the pitch as far as saying. So I look after here, just being able to say these songs really work pretty heavily. Just the evening type fair, just like that typical belays, just having like boxes of beer pitches like that. Just some evening type fair, some kickback, and just that standard kind of neighborhood unwind. Just pitches like that, just enjoying like the commute and the typical type fair. It's a little bit after worship type fair. Some moments like The Race kind of have that, and God of Blast kind of have that. Some of those type pitches I had to say some just relative wind down type ones. Not so much 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock, not so much 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock p.m. type music, but just the concept of just great music, very similar to Juice Wrld and Playboy Cardi within a sense for like those Pink Skies between like the hours of like 4:45 to about 7:15 as far as those fairs gonna happen. So just that particular product, like that evening type fair, just like a hot summer evening as far as those fairs gonna go. Good type pitch. So Social Scar I'll probably give like a 9.5 out of 10 because I look after here. It does have some good vibes, but it's just too bad that there wasn't like, it's just because this album was just so kind of stunted within a sense. I don't mean stunted in terms of quality, but it's the aspect that he never really got to cut loose the way he probably would have wanted to because there's just not the crazy type factor. Even before this album was coming out, he was having problems with the law as far as this pitch kind of happened, so he never really got the chance to have that liberation to really do things to the aspect of how crazy. It's like when you think of Pop Smoke, him not really being able to cut loose, or really Juice Wrld getting too crazy as far as what he could have done by the time he was 25 or something like that. Just folks like that within that particular fair. But like a lot of those cloud rap rappers were kind of faced with those particular problems. The cloud rap era kind of was particularly marred with problems that just never got it to develop to the sense. Not really as commonly available nowadays, but look within pitch, this is a good taste of like 2017, 2018. Like I said, it'd be great to get another album within this sense. It's a little bit late now, but if there were like some songs that he worked on back in 2017, it'd be an excellent type fair to be able to see that within pitch as far as getting towards it. Just question what probably could have happened there is something that could outstrip the race and just take vibes back to 2017, which is increasingly becoming longer ago. So it's just within pitch for saying, but 9.5 social. A lot of these moments pretty blistering, just neighborhood Jones, like I was saying, pitches like that. So in terms of the future, the unfortunate thing is that Tay-K has like an 80-year prison sentence, which is an aspect you would think just don't hold your breath as far as what's going to happen. But hopefully we get at least some unreleased music, something like that. Not to say, just getting like this particular stuff, browsing some stuff to get to the aspect. It'd be great to get this cat out of prison as far as what's going to happen, because he definitely has some talent here to be able to say that. It's just too bad it was marred. It's just too bad it was marred from like the get-go as far as what's going to happen. But just have the aspects, just kind of the concept of it's good to be hopeful, but don't hold your breath. But it's just some good type fare that this is a pretty excellent type album, some dynamite stuff.